Okay, so it's Valentine's Day this Sunday, and I just was trying to think of like a little Valentine story that I could tell you. I don't really have any, but I was remembering a story that I heard when I was a kid that back, I can't even remember what years, but it was a while ago, and it was sort of back when our communities were kind of not so well off, and there's this like local convenience store, or local to New York actually, stores, shops. Anyway, apparently if you went in there with your Valentine, you could get a free ice cream. So apparently the kids used to go line up, pair up outside and get their free ice cream. It must have been pretty embarrassing. I'm glad I never had to do that. But anyway, so there's your little Valentine story. Okay, so today I have not answered questions in ages. So I decided I will do a little question and answer video because I do love your questions and I love to answer them. Okay, so here goes for the first one. Can you choose your own career? If so, how do you make sure that you have someone to do every job there is? Do you think certain jobs are for male or female? For instance, can a man be responsible for cleaning? That's great. And can a student live on the Bruderhof while studying, or do they go to live on campus? Okay, that is a lot of questions, so I'll see if I can answer them all. Typically, when young people finish high school, they express interest in a certain area. Like some kids will be into literature or history or math or science, and others will be more inspired about like vocational trades like electrical or auto mechanics, and whatever. For the most part, they'll pursue that training. But if they end up becoming a member of the community, they don't have to have a career in the usual sense of working towards a management position or whatever, because in community life, we don't think that one kind of work is better or more important than another. And people might not always work in their chosen field, depending on the needs of the community. And sometimes you end up enjoying a field of work that you never would have thought of for yourself. In fact, my dad, he trained as a teacher. He did a 4-year teacher's training, and now he works in IT. So there you go. Hopefully, though, that answers the question of making sure you have someone to do every job there is. I think that with a little creativity and enthusiasm, people can do almost anything. Of course, for medicine and architecture and so forth, you need people who are trained and licensed. But not everybody who works in the kitchen is a trained chef. I would say, and this is a big generality, that there are probably more people interested in training in the healthcare profession rather than something boring like accounting. Sorry, accountants, you probably don't think it's boring. But at the end of the day, it doesn't seem to matter that much. Do I think that certain jobs are for male or female? For instance, like, can a man be responsible for cleaning? Well, like most other places, some jobs like plumbing or construction are generally done by men, and early child care and nursing are done by women. But in areas like teaching and business and medicine, we have plenty of both males and females doing those jobs. And can a man be responsible for cleaning? Yes, but only if he'd be thorough enough, and the bar is pretty high. Do students live on campus while attending college or university? Good question. Students mostly live on or near campus unless there's like an easy commute from the Bruderhof where they're living. In normal non-COVID times, of course, it's great to be able to be involved with campus activities. It's basically whatever works for each situation. Like, for example, I lived on campus when I went to college. Chris did not. He lived on a Bruderhof and commuted, so that's how that went. So next question. I notice that you don't have any carpets or comfy chairs, armchairs or couches. Is that by choice to avoid the temptation to laze around on the couch doing nothing, or is there another reason? That's a good question. We do try to keep our houses simple, and the community carpenters make a lot of our own furniture. Actually, Chris made this. I don't know if you can see it, but Chris made this couch. Not the cushions, but like the wood part. But that said, if we were to move into a furnished house with another style of furniture, for instance, if we moved into a city to start a community outpost, we just used whatever furniture was available. So, and it's just nice to have simple stuff. It's easy to clean, whatever. Okay, next question. Do you go on vacation? How long? Does it feel weird? Do you miss your community? So the answer to that is no. We don't go on vacation in the sense of traveling with your family to a destination. But let me explain, because that sounds kind of intense. People who are members have made a full-time commitment to the church. So that said, we also don't have many of the stresses in our work lives that most people do. For instance, taking a sick day if you need to is never a problem, or if you need time off for a family member who is ill, or to celebrate a family member's wedding or other occasions, there's no administrative hassle. So the community will make sure your work responsibilities are covered and all that. But that also being said, over the summer, families will often camp overnight with their kids, like on weekends, and there are lots of opportunities for families to have a great time together. So we're definitely not going short on that department. Like last summer, we went camping in our backyard with our kids, which was awesome. And some families like to even camp in winter, so whatever they want. I will not be camping in the snow with Branson and Xander this year. Hey, maybe one year Chris will take them winter backpacking in the Catskills, because that's what he did when he was a kid. I have to remind him. Obviously not yet, they're too small. So are there places in this beautiful world that I'd love to travel to and probably won't ever have a chance to travel to? Yes. But that is part of the sacrifice I made in taking vows as a member of this church, because I believe that it's more important for me to contribute to the world by serving other people and trying to make a just society than for me to fulfill my every wish. And of course, can't forget that most people in the world can't travel freely like that either. So that's my answer. Next question is, I would like to know if anyone stays in one place, or is it necessary to move around from community to community? Who decides who moves and where and why? And what if someone balks at moving? Good questions. So I've said before in my videos, people do move around between communities because when you become a member, you join the Bruderhof as a whole, not as like a specific location. So in a way, you could compare it to the armed services, where a person signs up and makes that commitment and then goes wherever and whenever they're told to without balking, because they know that's part of the deal. So a family might move to a different community if, for instance, one of the parents was a teacher and the community where they needed to move to was needed a teacher. So those decisions are made by the community leadership based on the needs of the various communities. Now, if someone had a really hard time with a request to move, they could absolutely talk to the leadership about it. And people aren't constantly on the move. Like, we're not like nomads because the children need stability and whatever. But if the need arises, we can and will pick up stakes and move. I will also say that from personal experience, that your attitude towards moving makes all the difference. If you think of all the people you'll miss when you move to a different community, or maybe the climate is different, like moving from New York to Australia, for example, or that you don't know anyone who lives there, then it will be a bit of a drag. But if you look at it like an adventure and think of all the new opportunities and people and experiences that are ahead, then it's really exciting. And one thing that I remind myself too is that wherever I go, I'll be going with Chris and my boys and the people that I love the very most. So, was that? Okay, and one more thought about that is that obviously some moves between countries are impossible for immigration reasons. And hopefully that doesn't get too much harder in the future. So, anyway, thoughts about moving. Anyway, so I hope you have a great weekend coming up, Valentine's Day weekend. Give a Valentine to your Valentine, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.
Hey, so I just came running out here with just like my hat and Crocs. Because I want to show you the snow. It's coming down. Today is another snow day. We've had a couple these past few weeks. Anyway, on snow days, the high school is closed. So on days like today, Chris and I, we are youth counselors. So we have the high school students when they're not in school. So we will do like work projects with them. Anyway, so today we're going to be doing some fun in the snow. We'll probably be playing some football in the snow and doing some sledding. Anyway, it should be a lot of fun.